The void of space was silent. Stars flickered like distant candles in the dark, and between them, a single blue world spun slowly, unaware of the storm about to descend. Humanity's cradle. For millennia, humans had looked up at the sky, imagining the possibilities. Now, the galaxy had finally looked back, and it was not impressed. The first ships appeared without warning. Colossal, black as obsidian, they blocked out the light of the nearest stars. Their surfaces rippled with alien technology that humans could barely comprehend. The creatures inside, the Eldari, were known across 3 sectors of the galaxy for their conquest. They had never faced resistance that lasted more than a single planetary cycle. Yet they hesitated when they saw Earth. It was small, primitive, chaotic. A world of rusting ships, half-burned cities, and curious humans struggling to survive their own wars. "Pathetic," whispered the Eldari commander, his voice like grinding metal. "This is the world that sends back cries of peace? This is a civilization we should extinguish within hours." From the shadows of orbit, a human observation ship, Horizon, trembled as its AI reported the approaching fleet. Captain Elena Vargas, eyes sharp and hands steady on the bridge, stared at the readings. "They're here," she said softly. Her voice carried a calm tension that few could ignore. "And they think we're weak. Let's show them otherwise." On the alien flagship, Eldari scouts landed on Earth's surface, their suits adapting to the atmosphere as they moved with terrifying precision. Humanity's armies were fragmented, mostly confined to satellites, small fleets, and outdated orbital defense systems. Yet even in their primitive state, humans were watching. Every alien movement was logged, analyzed, and reported in real time. They had no idea the species they underestimated could already see through their tactics. The first encounter occurred above the Pacific. Eldari drones descended like a swarm of black sharks, weapons humming. But humanity responded not with open aggression, but with cunning. Orbital defense grids activated, drawing the aliens into traps designed decades before the first warning signals. Explosions blossomed in space, painting fire across the stars, while the Eldari realized, too late, that the humans were anticipating their every move. They knew we were coming," hissed Commander Ralcor. "Impossible. They're primitive." The shock was clear in his voice. Across the galaxy, intelligence networks sent reports of human anomalies, engineering marvels built in secrecy, unpredictable tactics, and adaptability unlike any recorded species. The Eldari had assumed they would face a herd. Instead, they encountered a predator. Captain Vargas and her officers watched the unfolding chaos. "Focus on the swarm drones," she ordered. "Don't engage their flagship yet. Let them overcommit." Her voice carried authority, calmness, and the subtle edge of something the aliens had not calculated, human patience and ruthlessness combined. Below, humanity's global council scrambled to maintain order, sending messages to allied systems and rallying fleets that had been sleeping under the radar. Old enemy nations of Earth now worked together, united by the existential threat. It was messy, chaotic, but it was human and it worked. For every Eldari drone destroyed, humans learned, adapted, and countered with astonishing speed. In orbit, Horizon launched a single pod toward the alien flagship. Not with a missile, not with guns, but with a human mind, the AI integrated with Elena's neural interface. Inside the pod, she whispered to the AI, "We don't just fight, we outthink them. Remember that." The pod streaked toward the alien vessel, weaving through defense lasers, vanishing and reappearing like a ghost. When it reached the enemy core, the AI unleashed a cascade of logic viruses, human-made, designed to exploit the unknown weaknesses of the Eldari systems. Lights flickered aboard the alien ship. Hull compartments shut down. Systems failed. Chaos erupted among the invaders. Ralcor roared. "This is impossible. They are learning. They are evolving with every strike." His voice cracked with disbelief. Around him, the flagship's officers scrambled. Humans, he realized, were not just surviving, they were thinking faster than the advanced protocols of his species. Far below, on Earth's cities, humans watched the night sky turn into a battlefield of fire and light. Screens everywhere showed alien ships twisting in orbit, human forces striking back with precision and intelligence that no one had predicted. Ordinary citizens, scientists, engineers, soldiers, and even children monitoring space feeds, felt something they had never felt before: pride. Humanity had been underestimated, and the galaxy was about to learn why they never should be. As the first part of the battle ended, the Eldari ships withdrew slightly, reassessing their strategy. Ralcor's voice was low, almost reverent. "These humans, they are more than we imagined. And yet, They are only beginning. Captain Vargas looked at her crew, calm but determined. This is just the start. Humanity is not done. The galaxy is about to see what we can really do. The stars seemed to hold their breath. Above Earth the war had begun. But humanity was already winning, not through sheer power but through intellect, strategy and resilience that no alien had ever witnessed before. The Eldari had never faced a species like humanity. Across the void, their council debated in shrill, metallic tones. They anticipate every move, hissed Ralcor. Their tactics defy logic. This is not survival instinct, it is deliberate cunning. The alien leaders had assumed humans would fall like so many worlds before them. Fear, chaos, surrender. Instead, Earth's defenses had struck first, their counterattacks calculated, relentless and terrifyingly precise. On Earth, the human fleets were mobilizing fast. Out of sight of the Eldari, thousands of vessels rose from hidden orbital docks. Cargo ships retrofitted with weapons, research stations converted into warships, even civilian shuttles repurposed for attack runs. The human motto had become, adapt or die, and adapt faster than they can anticipate. Captain Elena Vargas oversaw the operations from the flagship Horizon. Her team had spent sleepless nights analyzing Eldari patterns, predicting movements down to fractions of a second. She stood on the bridge, calm as ever, yet her mind raced through hundreds of scenarios simultaneously. Admiral Zhao, status report, she said, her eyes scanning the holographic battle map. Swarm drones have been neutralized in most quadrants, Zhao replied, voice tense. We are detecting the Eldari flagship recalibrating, but they're cornered. Their next move is unpredictable. Sensors show, they are studying us. Elena's lips curved slightly. Good. Let them underestimate us. That is their first mistake. Meanwhile, deep within Eldari space, Ralcor's advisors convened a council of war. Alien delegates argued heatedly. Some called for immediate annihilation. Others suggested retreat and reconnaissance. But Ralcor remained silent for a long, tense moment. They adapt, he finally said, his voice a low growl. They are learning from us. Every attack we make, they twist into something more dangerous. Every trap we lay, they turn against us. This is unprecedented. Prepare the counter-strategy. But proceed with caution. On Earth, human scientists were working in unison with military strategists. They had discovered something shocking in the Eldari technology. A network of quantum-linked communication nodes scattered across their ships. Humans could not only track their fleet but subtly interfere with it. It was risky, a single mistake could trigger immediate retaliation, but the potential was too great to ignore. Elena convened her command team. We are going to strike at their network, she said. We will make them fight ghosts while our real forces flank their vulnerable sectors. It's the perfect human gambit. Risk high, reward higher. If we succeed, they won't know what hit them until it's over. Her tactical officer, Lieutenant Carter, frowned. Captain, the Eldari will recognize interference immediately. They're brilliant strategists. This gambit could cost us everything. Elena's gaze was unwavering. Then we ensure it costs them more. The humans launched their plan. Swarms of stealth drones infiltrated the Eldari fleet, not with explosives but with subtle sabotage. Shields flickered, engines misfired, communication loops tangled in paradoxical codes. Meanwhile, human warships, once hidden in distant asteroid fields, leapt into action, striking with devastating precision. In the chaos, Ralcor's flagship floundered. Impossible, he roared, the ship shuddering under invisible assaults. They predicted every tactic. This is not war, it's art. They create chaos faster than we can control it. Above Earth, civilians watched the night sky turn into a theater of war. Explosions painted the stars with fire and light. Ships danced in deadly choreography, lasers slicing through the black, debris twisting like sparks from a celestial forge. Ordinary humans, engineers, pilots, even children tracking star maps, realized the impossible. Their species was fighting an apex enemy, and winning. On the battlefield, human ingenuity was unmatched. One squadron used holographic decoys to trick alien sensors. Another employed ionized plasma fields to disable shields without a single casualty. Earth's old war relics, combined with cutting-edge AI, created weapons that defied conventional understanding. Every human mind had a part to play. Every citizen's ingenuity had become a weapon. Amid the chaos, Elena observed the Eldari flagship struggling to recalibrate. She addressed her crew, her voice calm, measured, yet electric with authority. They think they are gods. They think they are untouchable. They are wrong. Humanity does not bow. Humanity does not flee. Humanity adapts. We survive. And we rise. A sudden alarm blared. Sensors detected a massive alien counterattack forming at the outer rim. Ralcor had gathered his surviving fleets into a single devastating strike, a direct assault on Earth's main orbital grid. "Brace yourselves," Elena said, voice steady. "This is the moment they will see why they should never underestimate humans." The battle erupted once more, larger, louder, more chaotic than before. Aliens screamed orders, ships twisted and turned, and yet humans responded with unparalleled precision. Every maneuver seemed impossible, every counterstrike shocking in its effectiveness. The Eldari were learning, but so were the humans. And somewhere deep in the void, a single human warship, Horizon, moved like a shadow across the battlefield, striking not just with weapons, but with intelligence, cunning, and ruthless strategy. It was becoming clear, humanity was no ordinary opponent. Humanity was Apex. Ralcor watched in disbelief as the tide turned again and again. They anticipate our death before we even plan it," he whispered. How is this possible?" Elena stood at the bridge, eyes on the alien flagship. Her calm demeanor belied the storm of calculation in her mind. The humans were only beginning. They had survived, adapted, and struck back, but the real war was still to come. The void beyond Earth was no longer silent. What had begun as a defensive stand had transformed into a full-scale war, echoing across light years. Humans had revealed their capacity to think, adapt, and strike with surgical precision. The Eldari, once supremely confident, now struggled to comprehend a species that defied every prediction. On the alien flagship, Commander Ralcor slammed his clawed fist against the command console. "They have anticipated every movement," he bellowed. "They strike without warning, and yet, every attack is calculated. This is not survival instinct. This is Apex-level strategy." Around him, Eldari ministers argued furiously. Some urged retreat, others demanded immediate annihilation. But Ralcor had decided. They would learn the hard way that humans were not prey. Meanwhile, Earth's orbital fleets gathered strength. Hidden stations in asteroid belts and moons opened fire in synchronized waves. Human warships launched plasma torpedoes that twisted and turned in impossible trajectories, while cloaked fighters struck from unexpected angles. Every vessel acted not as an individual, but as part of a vast, adaptive intelligence. The Eldari were facing a single mind, multiplied across thousands of human agents. Captain Elena Vargas stood on the bridge of Horizon, her eyes scanning the holographic battlefield. "They're regrouping," she said. "They'll attempt a concentrated strike. But we've prepared for this. Initiate Operation Apex." The crew looked at her, a mix of awe and determination. Operation Apex was humanity's boldest plan yet. A coordinated assault on the Eldari command network while simultaneously luring their main fleets into ambushes. It was risky, even suicidal if miscalculated. Yet Elena knew humans excelled at the impossible. "Deploy the Phantoms," she ordered. Within minutes, hundreds of stealth drones and decoy ships slipped through the shadows of space, mimicking human warships. They moved in perfect formation, striking confusion into the Eldari fleets. As predicted, the aliens fired indiscriminately, wasting energy on illusions while the real human fleets closed in from hidden vectors. On Earth, the political landscape shifted. Nations that had once competed for power now acted in unprecedented unity. Scientists, engineers, and tacticians worked around the clock to keep supply chains flowing and to enhance the efficiency of human fleets. Civilian volunteers operated orbital defenses, satellites, and remote weapon systems. Humanity was no longer a scattered planet, it was a unified Apex intelligence. In the midst of the battle, Ralcor tried to communicate with Captain Vargas. "Humans," he growled, his voice echoing through the void via hacked comm frequencies. "You are clever, but your victories are temporary. Surrender, and perhaps we will show mercy." Elena's reply was calm, almost serene. "Mercy is for the weak. We do not beg. We do not surrender. We rise. And if you continue to test us, the galaxy will remember your arrogance as your last mistake." Ralcor's claw trembled over his console. Fury, confusion, and fear mingled in his mind. How could such primitive creatures, limited to one small planet, think, adapt, and outmaneuver a civilization that spanned hundreds of star systems? The battle escalated. Human warships darted between Eldari vessels, striking weak points in shields, engines, and command hubs. Each strike revealed not only firepower but ingenuity, using gravity wells of nearby planets to slingshot plasma torpedoes, hacking alien AI mid-flight to turn their own weapons against them, and deploying temporal interference fields that caused Eldari ships to falter and collide. Across the galaxy, other species watched in astonishment. Intelligence networks recorded Earth's tactics, and diplomats whispered in disbelief. These humans, they are apex, one alien envoy said. They are not merely surviving, they are dominating with strategy and cunning unlike any other species. We misjudged them. Back on Earth, Captain Vargas coordinated the final phase of Operation Apex. Synchronize all drones. Activate quantum disruption. Target the flagship's core processors. Let's end this. The humans struck in unison. Quantum pulses rippled through the Eldari network, freezing their ships mid-space, disabling communication, and forcing Ralcor to watch helplessly as his empire's fleet fell apart in waves of calculated chaos. Even his flagship trembled under human precision strikes. In desperation, Ralcor attempted a final counterattack, pouring energy into a massive wave cannon aimed directly at Earth. But human fleets had anticipated this, and a single squadron, cloaked in the planet's shadow, intercepted and redirected the blast safely into a nearby asteroid. The explosion illuminated space like a miniature supernova. On the bridge of Horizon, Elena allowed herself a small smile. They still think they can intimidate us, she murmured. Let them watch. Humanity does not bow, does not fear, does not yield. We conquer with intellect, with unity, and with the heart to endure what others cannot. Ralcor's ship drifted in orbit, disabled and broken. He stared at the humans on the monitors, hatred and respect battling in his alien mind. They are not just survivors. They are gods of strategy. Across Earth, people cheered as news of the victory spread. The aliens had underestimated humanity and now the galaxy knew. Earth was no ordinary world. Humanity had revealed its apex potential, not through sheer numbers, but through ingenuity, courage, and unparalleled adaptability. Yet even in victory, Elena knew the war was far from over. The Eldari were defeated, but the galaxy was vast, filled with threats that had yet to notice humanity's rise. The battle had proven one undeniable truth: humans were no longer underdogs, they were apex, and the stars themselves would soon bear witness to their power. The Eldari defeat reverberated across the galaxy. News of Earth's apex victory traveled faster than any hyperwave transmission. Species who had once dismissed humanity as primitive began to whisper, speculate, and fear. Entire councils convened on distant worlds to discuss the implications. The humans of Earth were no longer a minor planet. They were a dominant power, a species capable of outthinking fleets that had ruled the stars for millennia. On the neutral world of Vera Prime, the Galactic Council assembled. Holographic projections filled the chamber, showing Earth's orbit, the disabled Eldari flagship, and reports of human tactics. The council was composed of representatives from countless civilizations: the crystalline Xylan, the aquatic Drath, the insectoid Carve, and many others. All eyes, alien and human alike, turned toward the Earth delegation. Ambassador Renata Hale, humanity's voice in the galaxy, stepped forward. "We did not come seeking war," she began, her tone calm but commanding. "But if attacked, humanity will respond, not with fear but with strategy. We will not kneel. We will not yield. We will rise." Murmurs rippled across the chamber. Some envoys whispered in admiration, others in disbelief. Few had expected humans to speak with such authority, nor had they anticipated the evidence of their ingenuity: the Eldari fleet's defeat, the improvisational use of quantum disruption, and the flawless coordination of Earth's orbital forces. One Elder Xylan delegate spoke, its crystalline form shimmering. "Your species is remarkable. Your victory against the Eldari is unprecedented. Yet how do we know this was not a fluke? A planetary anomaly?" Renata's gaze was steady. It was no fluke. Humanity thrives on adaptation, on turning chaos into advantage. We do not just survive, we calculate, we anticipate, we overcome. You have seen the Eldari falter. That is not luck, that is humanity. Across the chamber, murmurs of approval and unease grew. The human's reputation as a cunning and apex species was spreading, and fear mingled with curiosity. Many delegates had underestimated Earth. Now the scales were tipping. Meanwhile, back in Eldari space, Commander Ralcor struggled with his defeat. Reports of other species' reactions poured in. Allies once loyal to the Eldari were reconsidering, neutral worlds were negotiating with humans, and some factions quietly offered Earth advanced technology, hoping to curry favor. Ralcor's voice was low, almost reverent. "They have done what no species before them has accomplished. They have survived. They have turned defense into offense. And they have shown the galaxy that Earth is not a world to ignore. In orbit around Earth, Captain Elena Vargas coordinated her fleets, not just for defense but for diplomacy. The humans were no longer reacting, they were shaping events. Scouts and diplomats moved across the stars, visiting council worlds, observing alien cultures and discreetly demonstrating human innovation. Gravitational slingshot weapons, AI-driven tactical simulations, and stealth fleets that could vanish from detection for hours. Every demonstration subtly reminded other species that humanity was a force not to be trifled with. Yet, political maneuvering came with risk. Other species, wary of humanity's rapid rise, began plotting behind closed doors. Some feared that Earth would dominate interstellar trade, technology, and influence. Others worried that humans might seek vengeance against any species that had ever underestimated them. Elena held a private meeting with Ambassador Hale and her senior officers aboard Horizon. "We've proven ourselves in battle," she said. "Now the real challenge begins. The galaxy will test us politically, economically, and strategically. We cannot rely on brute force alone. Our mind, our unity, and our adaptability must remain our greatest weapons." Hale nodded. "The Council is watching. Every move we make will set a precedent. We must balance strength with diplomacy, cunning with restraint. If we act wisely, humanity will not only survive but lead." At the same time, subtle alien factions began reaching out to humans. Scientists and engineers shared innovations, while tactical advisors offered insight into the Eldari's vulnerabilities. Humanity absorbed the knowledge but never relied on it blindly. They adapted it, improved it, and incorporated it into their strategies. Then a warning arrived. A mysterious fleet, unlike any humans had seen, was heading toward Earth. Unlike the Eldari, these ships emitted no energy signatures detectable by conventional sensors. They moved silently, deliberately, with technology that even Earth's most advanced AI struggled to interpret. Elena's eyes narrowed as the fleet appeared on the edge of the system. "New players," she said quietly. "And they think we're ready for them. Let's show them exactly what humans are capable of." The first encounter with this new fleet was a calculated test. Scouts reported that the vessels were probing Earth's defenses, observing, not attacking. Yet, their presence alone was enough to unsettle the Council. The humans were no longer just survivors. They were apex predators in a galaxy unprepared for their rise. As night fell on Earth, across its cities and orbital stations, humanity watched the stars. One truth had become undeniable: the galaxy had underestimated Earth for too long. But now, every species, from the smallest outposts to the largest empires, would have to reckon with humans. And somewhere beyond the void, Commander Ralcor and his defeated Eldari fleet whispered a single chilling thought: they are only beginning. And the galaxy has no idea what is coming next. The silence of space was broken, not by the Eldari but by something far older, far more enigmatic. On the edge of the solar system, sensors aboard Horizon detected movement unlike anything humans had seen. Ships, black as the void, with angles that seemed to defy physics, slipped between stars with a grace and precision that made even advanced AI falter. Captain Elena Vargas studied the readings. No emissions, no energy signatures. They're invisible to everything we know. "Prepare the fleet. Quietly. We don't provoke them, yet." Her officers exchanged nervous glances. The humans had faced the Eldari, a brutal apex species, and had won. But these new entities, shrouded in shadows and mystery, were different. They did not attack. They observed. And observation in the void, Elena knew, could be the deadliest form of war. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, rumors of the human fleet's exploits spread. Alien civilizations whispered in fear and awe. Humans had defeated the Eldari, adapted technology in unprecedented ways, and demonstrated intellect and resilience unmatched in recorded history. Yet, the shadows approaching Earth were proof. The galaxy still held threats beyond imagination. In the command deck of Horizon, the tension was palpable. "Captain," said Lieutenant Carter, "our fleet is ready to engage, but we cannot target what we cannot detect. Any action might alert them. And if we miscalculate..." Elena's gaze hardened. "Then we calculate differently. Humans survive by predicting what others cannot. We adapt faster than they can imagine. Begin observational sweeps. Map their movements. Feed everything into the AI. Every pattern, every anomaly, it will be our weapon." Across the void, the Shadow Fleet hovered near Jupiter, scanning Earth's defenses. Yet they did not strike. Instead, they tested human reactions. probing with stealth drones, creating gravitational distortions, and sending strange energy pulses that interfered with communication. Every attempt to understand them revealed something extraordinary. The humans were learning faster than the shadows could manipulate. Elena watched the AI projections. "They think they're testing us," she said quietly. "Let's show them what humans are capable of." The humans acted. Small, seemingly insignificant pods were launched from Jupiter's moons, each carrying specialized AI and quantum decoders. They infiltrated the Shadow Fleet not with brute force, but by observing, analyzing, and subtly manipulating their systems. Ships that had never been detected now flickered briefly in space, systems disrupted, then vanished again, leaving the Shadow Fleet in confusion. For the first time the shadows faltered. Their observation pattern broke, their drones collided, and subtle chaos rippled through their formations. Yet they adapted as well, moving unpredictably, testing the humans' limits. Elena turned to her crew. "We're not done. They are smart, yes, but so are we. We do not fight blindly. We anticipate, we improvise, and when the time comes, we strike with precision they cannot imagine." At the same time, the human delegation to the Galactic Council worked tirelessly. Intelligence gathered from the elderly and other species allowed humans to send warnings, offer strategic insight, and broker alliances. The galaxy watched with fascination as humanity demonstrated not only military brilliance but diplomatic cunning. They had learned that survival required influence, not just weapons. Then the first communication arrived, direct but alien in tone. The shadows spoke through the quantum network, their voice a deep, resonating hum that humans could barely comprehend. "Species of Earth," it intoned, "you survive against the elderly. You adapt faster than predicted. You are noteworthy. Do you seek war or do you understand the cosmos rules?" The council chamber on Earth fell silent. Ambassador Hale, voice steady, replied, "We do not seek war. But we do not bow. We defend, adapt, and survive. Humanity respects life, but it respects intelligence more. Threaten us, and you will see why the galaxy should not underestimate us." For a long moment, the silence stretched across light years. Then the Shadow Fleet withdrew slightly, as if considering the humans' audacity. Even in silence, their response was clear. Humans had passed the first test. They had survived contact with a species far beyond the elderly in technology and strategy. Back aboard Horizon, Elena smiled faintly. "They thought they could intimidate us by hiding in the shadows," she said. "They were wrong. Humanity thrives in the unknown. We adapt. We endure. We rise." The human fleets resumed patrol, their presence now a symbol of apex resilience. Alien observers, from nearby systems to council worlds, took note. Earth had become more than a planet, it was a strategy engine, a hub of ingenuity, and a species that could survive encounters even the galaxy had deemed impossible. Yet, Elena knew the shadows were only the beginning. Other ancient species, forgotten in myth, were surely watching, measuring, and waiting. Humanity's rise was unstoppable, but it would not be uncontested. As Earth's cities glimmered under the starlight, ordinary humans, pilots, engineers, civilians, watched the heavens and realized the truth. Their species had awakened. They were apex, cunning, and unstoppable. The galaxy's future had shifted forever. And somewhere, in the darkness beyond known space, the shadows whispered to one another, "The humans, they are only beginning." The galaxy held its breath. From the edges of known space to the crowded sectors of the Galactic Council, every civilization had taken note. Earth was no ordinary planet, and humans were no ordinary species. The Shadow Fleet had retreated, but that was only a pause, a test. Humanity had survived, adapted, and demonstrated unparalleled ingenuity, but the real challenge was approaching. Captain Elena Vargas stood on the bridge of Horizon, her hands steady on the controls. Behind her, human warships formed precise formations, orbiting Earth and its moons like a celestial web. Each vessel, each pilot, each AI module acted not as an individual, but as part of a greater strategy. Humanity had moved from survival to apex. Admiral Zhao leaned over the tactical display. "Captain, sensors indicate multiple fleets converging from 3 sectors. They're coordinated, likely following intelligence on our victories. If they join forces, we could face numbers we've never seen." Elena's eyes narrowed. "Then we make them fight our numbers, not theirs. Deploy the decoy formations. Lure them into the Maelstrom Nebula. They'll think they've trapped us, but we've already calculated every escape, every strike, every countermeasure." On the alien worlds observing Earth, whispers of awe and fear filled council chambers. They are no longer a single species fighting for survival, one elder said. They are apex, engineers, tacticians, and warriors all in one. They predict, adapt, and outthink every species that opposes them. The fleets converged. Shadows moved silently, elderly remnants faltered, and new alien factions approached with caution. Humanity's deceptive formations drew the enemy into the Maelstrom Nebula, a swirling vortex of plasma storms and gravitational anomalies. Most fleets hesitated. The humans pressed forward, their ships weaving through deadly turbulence with precision no other species could match. In the chaos, human ingenuity revealed itself. Quantum disruptors scrambled alien sensors. Plasma arcs from the nebula were harnessed as weapons. Stealth drones deployed, creating illusions of massive human armadas where only a few ships existed. The enemies fired blindly, wasting energy, colliding, and becoming trapped in their own confusion. Captain Vargas's voice cut through the bridge. All units, execute Apex Strike. Target fleet cores and command nodes. Focus on precision, not destruction. We are Apex, but we are also disciplined. Let's end this efficiently. Human warships surged with coordinated brilliance. Each ship struck like a surgical instrument, disabling engines, fracturing shields, and turning alien technology against its masters. Even the elderly survivors, known for their ruthlessness and cunning, faltered under the human assault. Ships that had once intimidated entire sectors of the galaxy now drifted as empty husks. Suddenly, a massive shadow vessel appeared at the center of the nebula. Its presence radiated power unlike anything humans had encountered. Its hull seemed to absorb light, bending reality around it. The fleet commander, an entity older than most recorded history, spoke through the quantum network. Humans of Earth, you have survived beyond expectation. You are formidable. But are you ready for what Apex truly means? Elena's gaze was steady. We do not seek war, but we do not flee from challenge. Humanity adapts. Humanity survives. And humanity rises. The shadow vessel unleashed a wave of energy, bending the nebula's plasma storms into a deadly cascade aimed at Earth's defenses. Yet humans were prepared. Utilizing the nebula's chaotic energy, fleets reflected, redirected, and weaponized the very storm that was meant to destroy them. Ships twisted, spun, and accelerated using gravitational slingshots, striking the shadow vessel from multiple angles simultaneously. On board the Horizon, Elena activated the final layer of Operation Apex, the human Neuralink AI network. Every officer, every strategist, every AI module worked in perfect synchrony, predicting enemy maneuvers and exploiting their tiniest hesitation. The Shadow Fleet, the elderly remnants, and the mysterious new species found themselves outmaneuvered at every turn. The battle reached its climax. The shadow vessel, powerful and ancient, was surrounded. Every move it made had been anticipated and countered. Elena gave the final command, now. Strike with everything. Human fleets converged, firing plasma streams, quantum disruptors, and gravitational torpedoes in perfect unison. The shadow vessel shuddered, systems overloaded, and its hull fractured. A brilliant explosion illuminated the nebula, visible across sectors, signaling humanity's apex emergence. Silence followed. The enemy fleets retreated, their morale shattered. The galaxy had witnessed an unprecedented truth. Humanity was apex, not by size, not by brute force, but by intellect, strategy, and adaptability unmatched in known history. Across the Galactic Council, delegates whispered in awe. Alien historians would later describe it as the Nebula Reckoning, the day humanity revealed its true potential. Elena turned to her crew, calm, resolute. We've survived every test, faced every threat, and outthought every opponent. But this is just the beginning. Humanity is no longer underestimated. The galaxy will remember this day, and we will be ready for whatever comes next. On Earth, citizens gazed up at the stars, witnessing the victory through broadcasts, satellites, and telescopes. For the first time in history, humanity had not just defended its world. It had dominated a galaxy-wide engagement, proving that their apex potential was real. And somewhere in the void, those who had observed, those who had hoped to intimidate, whispered, "These humans, they are not merely survivors. They are apex. And they are only beginning." The galaxy had changed forever. Earth, once a quiet blue dot, now shone as a beacon of apex intelligence, resilience, and strategy. Humanity had survived the Eldari, outwitted shadow fleets, and demonstrated cunning no other species had anticipated. Yet the final challenge remained, consolidating power, proving dominance, and ensuring that no species would ever again underestimate humans. Captain Elena Vargas stood on the bridge of Horizon, the flagship of Earth's newly unified fleets. Around her, thousands of warships formed a constellation of precision. Each vessel, each drone, each AI node acted as part of a living strategy, a mind stretched across space, capable of instantaneous adaptation. Reports from all sectors, Lieutenant Carter said, his voice tight with tension. Every major species is watching. Some seek alliances, some consider surrender, others plot, but none can ignore Earth. Elena nodded. Good. Let them watch. Every eye turned toward humanity is an opportunity. We do not strike blindly. We negotiate, we demonstrate strength, and we show why Earth is apex. Across the Galactic Council, whispers turned to murmurs. Delegates from countless worlds debated. Should they attempt diplomacy, seek to suppress humanity, or accept the new apex rulers of the galaxy? Ambassador Renata Hale spoke boldly, humanity does not seek domination through fear. We lead with intellect, strategy, and unity. Those who respect us thrive. Those who oppose us will learn their lessons quickly. Even the remnants of the Eldari fleets, battered and humiliated, approached cautiously. Commander Ralcor, his pride shattered, spoke for the first time since the Nebula Reckoning. They are, beyond anything we imagined. Not gods, but apex predators of intellect and strategy. We underestimated them, and it will be our undoing. The final test came not through war, but through diplomacy and intelligence. Alien fleets, curious, cautious, and fearful, began to converge near Earth. They came with emissaries, ambassadors, and envoys, but also with fleets poised for attack should humans fail. Elena activated the Neuralink network across the fleet. Every strategist, every AI, every human in command formed a single decision-making entity. Together they executed the Grand Apex Initiative, a demonstration of human ingenuity, adaptability, and dominance without firing a single shot. Stealth fleets repositioned to strategic orbits, cloaked sensors created illusions of immense human forces, and orbital grids generated plasma and gravitational displays visible across light years. On every alien screen, Earth appeared untouchable, invincible, and overwhelming. Every move was calculated to demonstrate apex capabilities. Humans were not merely surviving, they were orchestrating reality itself. Then came the final negotiations. Ambassador Hale spoke before the Galactic Council. The humans of Earth have survived the Eldari, outmaneuvered ancient shadow fleets, and mastered threats no other species could survive. We do not rule by fear but by example. Recognize our apex capability, cooperate, or be left behind in a galaxy that is already changing. The response was immediate and dramatic. Fleets that had been poised to attack withdrew. Factions previously allied with the Eldari now pledged support, offering technology, intelligence, and strategic resources. Even the Shadow Fleet's emissary, a being older than recorded history, bowed subtly in acknowledgement of human brilliance. Back on the horizon, Elena allowed herself a rare smile. Humanity has proven itself, she said softly. Not through brute force, not through numbers, but through strategy, ingenuity, and courage. We've turned every weakness into a weapon, every challenge into an opportunity. This is who we are, and who we always will be. Across Earth, celebrations erupted. Citizens watched the stars, witnessing a victory that transcended war. Humanity had risen to apex status in the galaxy, not by conquering worlds indiscriminately, but by demonstrating brilliance, resilience, and an unmatched ability to adapt and overcome. Even the galaxy's historians would marvel. Ships' logs recorded human tactics that defied alien logic. Analysts studied their strategy for decades. Poets and philosophers debated the implications. A species small in number but vast in intellect had rewritten the rules of survival and supremacy. And somewhere in the shadows, those who had watched from afar, the unknown and ancient civilizations, recorded a single note. The humans, they are not to be underestimated. They are apex. And this is only the beginning. Captain Vargas looked out at the swirling cosmos from the bridge. Stars shimmered, planets rotated, and fleets drifted in harmony around Earth. Humanity had faced extinction, faced gods and shadows, and emerged not just as survivors, but as masters of strategy, apex predators of intellect and cunning. Humanity rises, she whispered, and the galaxy will remember it forever. The void seemed to respond. For the first time, Earth's orbit felt like the center of something vast, powerful, and unstoppable. Humanity had not only survived, they had ascended. The galaxy had underestimated them, and that mistake would never be repeated. From the shadows of distant sectors to the council halls of alien worlds, one truth became undeniable. Earth had risen. Humanity was apex. And the stars themselves were theirs to command. The cosmos waited. And humanity was ready.